everybody. How y'all doing? I just got off a flight from Florida, if you couldn't tell. Can't wait to do a chargeback on Spirit Airlines. Okay, so I'm just gonna hold it. I feel like holding something. All right, so just a few things to note before this starts. For legal reasons, I cannot confirm or deny whether the events in this are true. So don't ask me. Okay. The piece is called El Vampiro. A year ago, I was so traumatized by working in an office that I set out on a journey of working odd jobs. I worked as a cannoli chef, tour guide, and I even gave a guy a very normal massage for $100. Eventually, I arrived at the escape room, and life had kicked enough shit out of me that I was ready to submit myself to whatever torture they had fucking prepared. One night at this job, I decided that I wanted to get hit by a car. I didn't want to die, I just did not want to work the next day at 7 a.m. So I whispered my request into the collective psyche and proceeded to get a city bike on the rainiest, darkest night in January. Regardless of whatever injuries may result, I just wanted a reason to stop pressuring myself into being a productive member of society. God damn it, I just wanted a mental health day. The streets got darker the faster I went. I knew that somewhere in the middle of one of these intersections, a new routine was waiting for me. Possibly one that involved icing my knee and masturbating all day. Divinely, the universe answered my prayers. As I raced down the gray hill, the car next to me took a hard left and I went flying into its driver's side door. My bike bounced off the exterior of the vehicle and ricocheted firmly into both of my testicles. As I tried not to gag from the pain, I did my best to verbally dismember the man in the vehicle while his kids watched from the back seat. A true warrior he was, as he sat there and forced himself and his family to take my abuse. He waited until I left to drive off, which I found to be an honorable gesture. Work the next day was very uncomfortable, as I had to find subtle ways to massage my balls without anyone noticing. They hurt, but not badly enough to stay at home and forfeit the paycheck. After all, the apartment I was living in was home to more rats than humans. The kind that's actually capable of eating an entire sleeve of a medium-sized parka. So I did need to get paid if I wanted to eat. As days passed, I found myself reaching out to my network in search of anyone that might be hiring. My friend Peter, an autistic man of the primordial variety, had offered to take me out to dinner and give me the rundown on a job he recently refused. Over dinner, he shared with me that a friend of his from high school was looking to hire someone for his startup. For the sake of anonymity, we're just going to call the startup Lead Sniper. In a nutshell, Lead Sniper sold lists of small business owners who had already been denied legitimate loans. Those lists were stolen from real lenders and resold to loan sharks who preyed upon people with no other options. The interview was strange. It was a Zoom meeting in a rehearsal room in Midtown Manhattan. Well, why do you want to work for us? Why sales? Well, I'm passionate about human interaction. Stop! The answer I'm looking for is that you want this job because you want to make a lot of fucking money. Now, do you want to make a lot of fucking money? Yes or no? I mean, obviously, yeah, I do, yeah. Okay, good. Sounds like we're on the same page. My first day on the job was in a business center of an apartment building that none of us lived in. The whole day was a training session on the ins and outs, on the types of leads, how much they sell for, and what kind of data was included. Now, I didn't know this at the time, but the leads we were selling were very special. They included social security numbers and bank statements, which could land you in prison for 10 fucking years. Not even 2 weeks into the job, I was told that I had to be in Miami for a month to hit several in-person conventions in order to keep getting paid. This was the direction my life is heading in, which is fine as long as it's in the opposite direction of an escape room. The first convention was bizarre, disheartening, tiresome, and filled with literally the worst personalities I have ever encountered. I watched my coworkers trample over me in every single conversation, stealing deal after deal as if I did not even exist. The people I worked for were the worst human beings I have ever met in my life. Every moment in conversation was an opportunity for something racist, sexist, ableist, or downright cruel. They were bandits, cheaters, thieves, liars, hornswogglers, and life destroyers. But god damn it, when that phone rang, you never heard a song so sweet. At this point, I was a half second away from booking my flight home and starting from zero. I was not cut out for this shit. Okay, I couldn't hide from the reality that I was committing serious identity fraud by selling this data, and I was not even good at selling it. But it wasn't until I realized that in order for me to make it home from Miami without starving to death, I would have to become a very different person entirely. Someone like them, but worse. I didn't know anything about software development, but I knew everything about ChatGPT. So I started to build software that would find me better people to cold call. Loan sharks who were ready for another meal. The more I spoke to the right people, the better I got at selling. For the second and final event in Miami, I annihilated them. I sold $58,000 of sensitive personal data within the next 2 months following the occasion. I perfected the software that took bad data and turned it into good data. I created artificial intelligence that found people's real phone numbers. In the event that our supplier gave us fake ones, I hit the phones and I hit them hard. I got promoted to an executive level position. I cared about no one, nothing, anywhere and everywhere became an opportunity to sell, to steal, and to conquer. I guess the point where I was dreaming about this shit. I didn't see people anymore, I just saw invoices paid. Buy from me and you'll get rich, okay? I was succeeding on the backs of poor people who needed fast money. Okay, I became the salvation for all parties. You know, people would do this shit when they would ask me. They'd say, okay, well, what do you do for work? I said, well, you know, I connect people who have money with people who need money, okay? So what's so wrong with that? At one of the events, I met a man named Miguel. I did this thing that I really like doing where I approach people like I already know them, like if I see their name on a name tag, so we just continue the conversation like we were friends because he couldn't tell if he remembered me or not. He knew about the company, he knew about the software, all of it, but he still needed to test me. Miguel said to me, so what kind of leads should I get? Okay, so Miguel, what I'm going to do for your killers in Boca, I want to give you 10 24-hour leads every single day out of the week, okay? These are people who applied for a loan in the past 24 hours, okay? So these people are desperate. It comes with SSNs, EINs, business names, first name, last name, you name it, okay? Now, for the call center in Bangladesh, what I would like to do is, I got this cheap data, dialer data, okay? It's UCC scrubbed. We also scrub for defaults. Miguel, what I tell you, if you ever find a default, you let me know, I replace it for free. Miguel is, okay, was kind of impressed with my pitch. He's got one last question for me. Can you get Spanish leads? Jesus Christ. Miguel, I can get you Spanish leads. In Puerto Rico, they work in construction, they got one leg. Whatever the fuck you want. I can do anything, Miguel. He looked at me for a second. He said, El Vampiro, I like you. Here's my card. Now, shortly after that, everything fell apart. But right before it did, I had a client named Bill Bauer from Texas. Bill had just gotten into the industry by suggestion of his darling son, another loan shark. You know, for a while, Bill and I did well together, okay? I sold leads, Bill brokered the loans. It was a beautiful dynamic. But one day, the leads went very bad, okay? Company-wide. Turns out that the head of sales, technologically incompetent, irreparably fucked up the master spreadsheet with all our leads. I'm talking mismatched mobile numbers, mismatched business names, full names, SSNs, EINs, everything. 100% of that product was fucked. The worst to feel it was Bill, okay? Bill just had open heart surgery and was unable to afford his medical costs. Bill used to call me to beg in this like really cheap southern accent. Come on, man, just give me something. I just need one good lead. Come on now, you done promised me a refund if the lead was bad. No, Bill, come on. I promised you a replacement within the following business day. You called me on a Friday night. It's a Monday morning. You got to wait till tomorrow. But I need it now. Bill, aren't we friends? Don't I answer your calls when you call me? When you text me, it shows up blue, doesn't it? That means you're texting my personal cell phone. That's got to count for something, Bill. Bill died shortly after that. From what I heard, Bill had this feeling that something was wrong with his heart following the surgery, but didn't really do anything about it because he couldn't afford to schedule a checkup. What was it called? I think pericardial effusion, I think it was called. But I like to think that I killed him. He wasn't a big spender anyway, so fuck it, good riddance. My last day on the job was a one-sentence crash out to the CEO of Lead Sniper. The overbearing guilt of the job was weighing on me, with legal pressure slowly creeping in as more and more people in the industry were getting locked up by the FBI. Anybody and everybody I called had caught wind of our reputation. It was over. None of that really bothered me, though. It was actually the people I worked with. I could not stand the sight of their names popping up on my phone when I got a text. So I knew that if I kept this up, we'd all end up in the same ice pit in hell when it was over. So the disgust I felt for that idea was enough for me to reopen LinkedIn and try to do that damn thing again. But now I'm back to working in an office. The guilt no longer affects me. I sit at my computer doing architectural renderings for event producers. I join 9 a.m. meetings, pretend that I'm listening to people while I scroll through Reddit. I talk to people about their weekends and their sick little kids who missed their birthday party and still got the iPhone they asked for. I just get a nod and smile. Did you get that email, Jan? Yeah. Oh my God, yeah, I saw your notes in the deck. That was so good. But, sometimes I wonder, is this all there really is? Am I getting thirsty again? Thank you.